Welcome, everybody. We have another great show for you today. We have two of our exceptional women awardees with us. First, there is Nicoles Journey. Nicole is an audit partner at KPMG in the Los Angeles office. And of course, as you know, KPMG is a global firm. Nicole specializes in the area of public and private companies within the property and casualty insurance, healthcare, banking, and travel. A lot of really hot and exciting areas. And with her, we have Tina Robinson. Tina is an attorney, but before that, she was a physical therapist with a very successful practice. And then she changed careers to become a lawyer with Pettit Cohn, which is a mid-sized firm in California and Arizona. She's going to tell us all about that pivot, which will prove to you that you can do it too if you want to. I'm Lorraine Siegel, and I'm the founder, chair, and CEO of the Exceptional Women Awardees Foundation. We enable high-level, high-potential women like Tina and Nicole to rise to meet their dreams. Why did I start this foundation? Well, when I was early in my career as a lawyer and then as an entrepreneurial CEO of a number of different companies and even as a board director, I never had a mentor. I never had a coach, and I wanted to be sure that women who walk the road less traveled, as I had, would always have a network, a sisterhood of women who would advise and support them for the rest of their lives. And that's exactly what the Exceptional Women Awardees Foundation does. So let's go straight to our two amazing guests today. I'm going to go first to you, Nicole. Tell us a little bit about your journey to become an audit partner. Was that something you dreamed about as a little girl?
Thanks, Lorraine. Well, first, thanks so much for having me today. And the answer to that question is actually no. I never thought I would be an audit partner. I actually always loved math growing up, and that was, my favorite subject in school, and realized when I was in college that I loved problem solving and I loved just dealing with people. I loved the interaction of problem solving with people and in a team environment, and eventually ended up at KPMG once I figured out of the big four firms that was just the place that I loved and the people that I interacted with the best. And very soon into my career realized that being an audit partner, then yes, that was when I dreamed of it and thought about, what a great path this would be for me, and was lucky enough to be surrounded by some incredible mentors, men and women, and family and EWA sisters that have really helped me get to the partnership role that I have now.
Well, we're so grateful to KPMG because they've been a sponsor of EWA right since the very beginning. And we have, I think, 5 KPMG women leaders within our group right now. So why did you choose audit rather than risk or advisory? KPMG has many opportunities there. What led you in that direction?
True. So I would say it really was that problem solving kind of aspect of the career that I liked. I like to go out and interact with the marketplace and sell business, the actual kind of marketplace, impact that we have. But really what I liked was the technical accounting aspect, which I got to learn and grow from that in the audit practice, more so probably than other practices. And then the people in particular. I really found a niche with the people that I grew up with in my insurance practice, which is where I first started my career at KPMG. And I think I got addicted to that. And after that, there was no going to any other practice for me.
That makes a lot of sense. So, Tina, you have an amazing career, such an interesting background. And I met you when you were a very successful physical therapist with a great practice. What happened? Why did you decide to become a lawyer?
Well, Lorraine, thank you for having me as well. I decided to become a lawyer because I actually had an interaction with a person who was very nasty, and he used the law against people. So he would sue people to get his way, whether he was entitled to or not. And I said, gosh darn it, I'm not going to be subjected to that or vulnerable to that. So I thought, why not? I think I can go to law school and do this. And so that's exactly what I did.
What a lot of courage that took, Tina, because you had a lot of really successful people in your practice, and you were very successful in helping them heal themselves. And, going back to school, first of all, it's expensive. And secondly, it's time consuming. And thirdly, you have to really start at the bottom of the barrel. So how did you deal with those kinds of issues?
Well, I worked full-time and went to school at night and at Southwestern's evening program. And you just learn to really balance everything and warn your spouse ahead of time when you're going to be busy. And it's just nonstop for 4 years, but you have to have the end goal in mind saying, I'm going to finish this no matter what. And so you do that for 4 years and you come out on the other end okay.
And you passed the bar the first time, which is a miraculous deed in California because the results are pretty awful. So congratulations on that. It's truly amazing. But there's something else that you've done that I am just in awe of. And I want to say this correctly, but you are a woman who is an Ironman. Did I do that right?
Yes, that's correct. I've done 12 Ironman, actually did my 12th Ironman during law school. I've been to the World Championships in Kona twice, which means I had to be in the top 5% of my age group for 2 of those Ironman. So yes.
Mind blowing. Okay, what does Ironman mean? What do you have to do to be a woman who's an Ironman?
Besides being crazy, you have to, you swim 2.4 miles and then you get out and ride your bike for a leisurely 112 miles and then you do a marathon.
Wow.
You do an Ironman. All in one day.
All in one day. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Well, there is no doubt you're one of the fittest people I know. Pretty impressive. And I think being fit also helps you in the services business. So Nicole, going to you, I believe you were born in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, went and got my master's degree at Wichita State in the Midwest, and very happily came back to LA. Liked my time there, but happily came back to LA, which is where all my family is. And I live really close to them and I'm very close with them and happy to know that they're cheerleaders in my corner. So was definitely glad to come back.
That's an amazing thing to have in your life, and we all need that. And EWA hopefully helps you with that as well, because that's one of our commitments for the rest of your life. Talk to me about how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace, because obviously you have to find business and bring it into KPMG and then service it. So a lot of people are doing the same thing you are. There are big firms around, they're global like KPMG. What do you do that's different?
Sure. Well, I think I'm personal and I think I don't shy away from that. And, you know, I really had to stop when I became a senior manager at my firm, which is the step right before partnership. And I really had to think about what makes me unique. And then I actually went to my mentors and my friends within the firm and I asked them what their opinion was about me that made me unique. And a lot of times it was a different answer than what I thought about myself. But what I really realized was I'm good at making a team. I'm good at teaching people and being detailed and confident in what I can do. And I can make a personal connection in that. And so I think that if I can be authentic, then that shows to other people. And there's no greater skill than that.
And there's no better service for a client to know that they can trust you, because very often there's hundreds of millions of dollars that are depending on your advice and counsel. So very, very important. And so, Tina, you are now in the litigation business. And what is it about litigation that appealed to you?
I just like to be able to service my clients. As a physical therapist, I was able to help people that were in physical pain and also emotional pain, especially my elderly patients. But then litigation field, especially with these small businesses, I do employment defense, and it's really kind of an emotional experience being in litigation. So I'm just able to service them in a different manner and really help them.
So I think that's obviously very important to do. But when you're an entrepreneur and then you're in a firm where you're an employee, how did you adjust to that, Tina? That's not easy.
No, you just learn different skill sets. I'm used to being my own boss, and it's really, I don't focus on that though. I just focus on what I can learn from people. So during law school, including you, Lorraine, you really mentored me throughout the back part of my law school, but you just look for mentors and come at it with that mindset rather than, oh, somebody's telling me what to do. They're not telling me what to do. They're just helping me advance in my career. And that's what I focus on.
So do you specialize in healthcare litigation, or is it just across the board?
No, I actually specialize in employment defense. I'm on the employment team with Petitcombe. So
are you using your medical knowledge on a daily basis?
I am doing some personal injury on with another partner or with another shareholder. So I have been using my medical degree recently, scouring through medical records, and that's been a lot of fun. But then in my everyday life, I help my neighbors. I always have a neighbor that has a pain or back pain or an ankle pain or something. So I'm still able to use my physical therapy degree.
And we like that too, because when we've got aches and pains at EWA, Tina shows up and gives us some very practical advice. So it's always a valuable tool to have. So Nicole, I find your ability to bring team members around you and inspire them is truly inspirational in itself. What is it that you do to make people want to work on your team? Because they do.
I think that's actually a great question. And I would imagine that every person that I work with would probably say something different. But from my perspective, I think it's allowing people to show what their strengths and weaknesses are, because I think we try to focus a lot on grooming people to, behave or, pick up skills in a certain way, but recognizing that every single person is going to learn differently, and that it's also okay to have weaknesses, or I don't even like that word, but areas where that they can improve themselves. And I actually like to revel in that. I like to know what people think their strengths and weaknesses are, and I like to talk about it and be honest about it, because even though most of our staff may not stay at the firm, or they'll go to a different practice within our firm, or they'll pick a different career, I truly believe that you can get something out of, every day, every interaction, every client you work on, every job that you have, every client. And hopefully people enjoy that. And I think people do, because they realize they can get something out of it, and as opposed to just showing up to work every day.
So do you find that turnover is a challenge? I mean, every company I'm speaking to right now, turnover is a challenge. So can't imagine that KPMG is any different. But how do you address turnover within such a large firm?
Well, we are, just like everybody else, I imagine, we are suffering some turnover, and you always will. That's just part of the game. But I think really the only way to battle that is to go back to, I think what one of my skills is to be personal, is to connect with each person individually and recognize that each person may want to leave or have to leave for a different reason. So, someone may want to leave because of a financial reason, or someone may want to leave because of hours, or maybe they don't even like the job that they're doing. But getting to know each individual person that works with you, I think, is the only way to overcome that, because you won't be able to help them if you don't know what the issues are.
Yeah, that's so true. And one has to take the time as a leader to make sure that you have that one-on-one time with somebody. Not so easy when you've got hours to bill. So, Tina, you obviously have a required amount of hours every year to bill. How do you manage your time to fill in? You have to do the woman as an Iron Man. You have to do the other things and family and so on. How are you managing your time?
It's actually a lot easier now that I'm not in law school. So I feel like I have a lot more time than I ever did. But I still continue to, just schedule everything and make sure everything's calendar, and planning ahead is the biggest thing, and planning for things that are going to come up. And so I plan my meals out every week. I try to get everything at the grocery store before I go, so I have all the food I have, so that I can stay in shape and still work out during the week. And letting my husband know, hey, I have this really busy time coming up, so he's not upset when something happens. He had other expectations. We just discuss those expectations. And so I just continue to do that throughout the day.
That's pretty impressive. So, Nicole, how do you measure your success going forward now? Because you're a partner. So what's next?
Yes. So, obviously getting the partnership promotion is definitely a measure of success. And I would say even within the firm, they give you metrics, right? That billable hours, just like Tina probably has, different financial metrics that we have. So that's one way to measure your success. But I think that there's an outside of all of that. I try to measure it by what I do every day. I truly believe that every day, if I can do something great, if I can talk to someone new, if I can help someone with something that they're going through, talk with a client about a new topic, if I can take pride in something every day, then to me, that will mean I was successful, because all of those things will add up to the bigger wins.
Well, I hope you actually do give yourself credit for that, Nicole, because I know how hard you work, and that is a hard thing to do, to remember the good things you did. I think we have some questions coming in from LinkedIn. So There's one that just came in from Judy Schrecker. Nikki and Tina, what are your biggest challenges in your current role? So let's go to Tina with that.
My biggest challenge, I've just been learning a lot since I'm a newer attorney, and it's just putting that fire hose down your throat again and with all this information. And so just keeping in mind that I am new, and being this is my second career, I was really good as a physical therapist, and I just forget sometimes where I started and how difficult it was when I first started PT. And just keeping in mind that even though I'm not the age I was when I was a physical therapist starting out, it's still just a new learning experience, and that I'll be okay. I just have to keep pushing forward and keep working towards my goals.
It takes so much courage to do what you did, Tina. I mean, we could have featured you as a physical therapy expert, and that would have been enough. I mean, as an exceptional woman, that would have been enough. And yet you have taken yourself into a whole different field and challenged yourself. And I know a lot of people who would not do that. So hats off to you. I really admire it. So Nikki, how are your incredible challenges, and what are the largest challenges you have, to answer Judy's question?
Yeah, I think you touched on it before. I think one of our biggest challenges is keeping people. I think I hate to talk about COVID again, because I know it's on everyone's mind and it's affecting everyone's business, but the dynamic of not having people in person has really done a number, I think, on people's morale and emotional health. And it's a big topic that we have to really think about and adjust going forward. There were some positives, but also some challenges as well. And I think that that's really making people think about, what they want to be doing going forward. And maybe they're just sick of being stuck at home. And so that's been quite a challenge, is just keeping people happy and keeping the turnover down.
Tough question. And now with some of the other variants that are causing hospitalizations, people are kind of moving backwards into masks and maybe even more than that. So I hope it doesn't go in that direction, and that over the next few weeks things will improve. But it certainly has changed the way we do business. And now, do your clients want you to show up at their places? Are they looking for that?
It's kind of all over the board. We have some clients that are happily welcoming us back, and with masks, sometimes without masks. And then we have other clients that are saying, anybody that isn't a key essential employee, which we are not, we're, technically a consultant, we're outside, then they're not letting us back in, and they don't see us coming physically back into the building anytime soon, because obviously we were able to maneuver the last year and a half remotely. So that managed to work. And I think it'll change. I think everyone's comfort level will change, and policies will change, and we'll just have to adapt accordingly. Thankfully, we have technology, though, that helps and made it, actually able to execute what we used to be able to do in paper, which is what happened when I first started with the firm.
Yeah, so true. So Tina, I know the courts were closed, so litigation firms must have had real challenges. How did you overcome that?
I think some of the hearings, obviously everything was online, but some of the hearings it was fine for, but some of the major hearings, I feel like it would have been a lot better to be in person. You just do the best you can with all the technology, but depositions in person is definitely better, because you can get a read of somebody. You just cannot get that read over the Zoom video. And so now we're back into the courts, and hopefully taking depositions in person as well. And we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we don't take a step back. I think a lot of it is good, though, where we're not wasting clients' money going to court for smaller hearings, and we're able to do those telephonically.
Well, we'll just hope for the best. So I know there are a couple more questions my producer's telling me, so let's put one or two of those up. So, here we go. Yes, I just want to remind you that if you have a question, put it up, and there are a couple there. There's Melanie from Scottsdale. Oh, I love this one, Melanie. What do you most look for in bringing someone onto your team? Okay, Nikki, you go for that.
Sure. Well, there's definitely the normal kind of qualifications that you're looking for: experience, education, whatever their background is for the role that you're looking for. But when you're speaking with someone, I personally am looking for a sense of humility and an ability to adapt to change, which a lot of times will just come from conversations and them giving examples of, experience that they've had. I'm a big believer in the maxim that the only constant is change, and the only way to adapt to our clients' changing business, which I think has been really evident this last year, is really to just make sure that we can grow and we can change. And if I can have a team that's filled with people who embrace it and are willing to learn, then, I can teach them the technical skills on a daily basis of the technical accounting. We can learn that, but someone who can embrace that soft skill, I think is a really powerful tool for any team.
So that's an interesting challenge, isn't it? Because do you learn that in college? Do you learn it at home? How do people come about to have that soft skill?
I think it comes from everywhere. I think it comes from just your own personality. I think I do see that people can learn it. I myself have learned it over time to be more adept to change. And sometimes you just have to let someone onto your team, follow your gut instinct about it and just see if they can grow with you naturally and organically. And sometimes it just takes time. And I think it's probably all of the above is the answer to that.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to give somebody a chance. That's also part of it, I would imagine. So let's put another question up. I know there are a few more. And if any of you have questions and we don't get to them, please put them into LinkedIn and we'll come back to them. Arla from Chicago. Oh, she wants to know, knowing what you know now, would you do anything differently? Okay, Tina, that's a good one for you to start with.
No, I would not, because as painful as it was I went through, and as challenging as law school was, I've learned so much and I felt I've grown so much. And I would not trade those experiences for the world. I think the way you learn to change or embrace it even more, to the point before, is when you fall on your face and then you get back up. When you've done that enough over and over, you realize, I'm going to be okay and I can make it through this. I just have to pursue it and keep moving forward. And we just learn one step at a time.
So Tina, what we haven't spoken about, and I do want to do that because many, many years of your early life was spent as a musician. Will you share a little bit about that for us and our audience?
Yes, I played French horn. I've been playing since I was 10. I performed all over the world, including in Avery Fisher Hall, Hollywood Bowl. And my bachelor's is in music. I originally started as a music therapy major and completed all that coursework, but ended up leaving school and coming back and ending the music business. And music is a huge part of my life. I'm not playing this year, but as soon as COVID is over, hopefully I'll be playing my French horn again. And it just fulfills me so much to be able to perform in the groups.
So you have integrated, you've had actually 3 lives. So you started off as a musician, then you became a physical therapist, and now you're a lawyer. And we're just waiting for the next episode to hear what's next. But talk about a little bit the integration of music and therapy, because I know that you've done some amazing things with that combination.
Yes, music uses your entire brain. So it's great because you have the right side and the left side of the brain. So no matter who the person you're dealing with, they're going to affect the brain in some way. You can actually take music, let's say you take a song. So somebody that does not want to talk about their feelings, as many of you know, whenever you listen to a song, it can motivate you or bring you to tears. And so you can take that music, get their emotions going, and then talk about the lyrics in a way where they're talking about the song and not their specific emotions. And it's a really way to open up people's and helping people. And also with any kind of Parkinson's, I use music with my patients with Parkinson's to help with gait. And there's all sorts of ways you can use music.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We have another question my producer says, which has come from Kimberly. Kimberly Reese, what is a lesson you learned from one of your parents? Oh, I love this, Kimberly. Thank you. One of your parents or a mentor that has helped you throughout your career. Okay, Nikki, you take this first.
I actually really love this question because I actually got asked this question on my partnership interview. And I will say something that my dad has been saying to me probably every day since I can remember. It used to irritate me as a kid and I never really truly understood what it meant, but he always tells me to be smart and to be safe. And of course, as a teenager, that probably means one thing, but I realized what he's intending to explain to me is every choice that I make has a repercussion. Everything that I do is going to have some kind of consequence. And so every step I take, every choice I make, every decision I make for myself, I need to be safe and I need to be smart. And it's as simple as that. And it's some of the best advice I have gotten probably, and I will take it with me everywhere I go.
And I think we're going to borrow that from your dad and from you, because I think it's amazing, amazing, amazing. What great advice, especially now. Okay, Tina, Judy just said you're an inspiration. Both of you are to me and all of our EWA sisters. So Tina, what's the advice you got from a parent or a mentor?
I think just watching my father go through life, he only has an associate's degree, but he stayed with the same company for 40 plus years, worked his way up to upper management, and his perseverance just awed me all the time. And I really learned from that. You just keep pushing forward no matter what. And that has helped me tremendously switch from career to career, but also get to where I'm at today. And especially with Ironman, that helps a lot. You know the end is coming eventually. So
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, we only have one life and we're there to live it to the fullest. And both of you have been very instrumental in paying it forward to other women. So we only have a few minutes left, maybe 4 minutes. And Tina, if you could just give me a little bit of some of the amazing philanthropic work that you've done. I think some of it was associated with music therapy too.
Yes, I've done a lot of volunteer work actually with the elderly. I've helped a lot of my elderly patients outside my physical therapy, just try to navigate life, because I feel our middle class, especially elderly, is underserved. So I would get walkers for them, bring them groceries, not a lot of formal philanthropic work, but any chance I can do to help somebody. If somebody's in pain, I can help them in any manner with all the tools I have. I just try to do that each and every day.
Well, we're so honored to have you as part of EWA. And Nicole, I know you do the same thing. So give us a few examples of some of the philanthropic work that you've done over the years.
Sure. Well, within the firm, I'm lucky enough that we have some amazing resources. And so there's a couple of organizations that have really captured my heart. Junior Achievement, which really mentors, younger children and them understanding financial stability and education. And that has really been a big source of pride for me, because I love watching them at that age learn something that's a valuable skill for them. And then I'm currently on the advisory board of Walk with Sally, which is also an organization that my firms help support. But they do grief counseling, children who are about to lose or have lost a parent to cancer, get paired with a counselor for life. And it's a relationship that just takes them through some incredibly hard times. And I think there's no better way to give back to someone than when they are going through something incredibly painful. And I've been lucky to be a part of that organization for a few years now.
And so interesting, because each of our life stories brings us moments of terrible pain. And if you can take that pain and turn it into a volunteer situation, which both of you have done, to the community in so many ways, you're changing lives. And at EWA, we change lives one woman at a time. You're changing lives one community at a time. I am so grateful to both of you for being part of EWA. You enrich all of our lives. And I wish I had more time for all of us today, but we'll bring you back for another occasion. Thank you both, Tina and Nikki. Thank you for your expertise. This is not the end. We have more wonderful news for you. There is another show which is coming up, and we have two more amazing EWAs who will join us. We have Debbie McClure. She had an amazing career for many decades at Cisco and then joined Dropbox as VP for the sales in the Americas. She is an amazing woman in technology. She knows how to make it happen, knows how to compete in a very challenging world. And with her, we have another amazing EWA who is Sunny Webb. Sunny is the managing partner of Hummingbird Search. And she is a woman with 37 patents to her name. Pretty amazing. She has been the global R&D head of Accenture, as well as leading the team for Apple as the Accenture client. Pretty amazing woman. You're going to learn about technology and Silicon Valley as you've never heard it before. So please do join us. And remember that this show is going to be on Amazon Music. It's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on 15 different platforms. Please subscribe to our podcasts and come and visit us on LinkedIn and put in your questions, which we were not able to get to. I thank you all so much. I have a question for you, of course, today. We have very courageous women on with us today. What is the most courageous thing that you have ever done in your career? Send me an email. It's on the screen now. I hope to see you at our next and all of our shows. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.